So, when it comes to Holley carburetors, I don't really think that there's anyone more qualified than David Vizard to grade me on the drivability of my truck. So that's where I'm at today. I'm over at DV's house, and he is going to take Casper for a little spin, and he's going to grade me on the performance of these carburetors. And so, DV, what you think about this?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. It's just been brought to my attention that I've had 46 years of Holley tuning experience. Now, when did it start? It started the day I met Dave Braswell. What a teacher, one of the finest Holley tuners on the face of the planet.
So, David, you've written untold amount of magazine articles. You got a best-selling Holley carburetor book.
Yep.
And so, yes, where do you think?
Actually, it won an international gold medal.
Did it really?
Yes.
That is so cool. So, really, where do you see carburetors going in the future as far as the battle between fuel injection and carburation?
You know, it's very difficult to say. The fuel injection guys have it when it comes to publicity and sheer, how shall I say, high-techness, right? But the bottom line is this. On everything except maybe the cold start, the carburetor can do just as well, or it can actually beat it. Most of the fuel injection systems I test on engines are about 10 horsepower less than their carbureted equivalents. The only thing they do better is startup and maybe low-speed drivability if you've got a big cam in. That's it. So if you want performance and you're putting a sensible cam in, there's no beating those carburetors for value for money. Holley has got this game pretty much wrapped up.
So there you have it, folks, straight from the horse's mouth. And so now we're going to hit the road and see what he thinks about old Casper here. Well, folks, this is a first. No one has ever driven this truck but me. So I've never ridden on this side of the seat. It feels really weird. So DV's driving it like a pro already. So hopefully we won't end up doing any acrobatics.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
See how it pulls. That is in high gear.
Yeah.
If you'd have been in second, we'd have just wasted the tires.
Yeah.
Right? We are going to drop down to around about 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Do we need to shift? Not really.
No.
Right? I am going to pull up at these lights here, and I'm going to just waft away like I would do in traffic
Yeah.
in high gear. No gear shift. Right? We're coming up to a stop sign now. Now it does the brakes by such a big margin. It's not funny.
Yeah, this is.
Right. Okay, we've stopped.
Yeah.
Now we got to go. High gear.
High gear, 2,500 RPM, and it pulls through with no hiccups, no bucking.
And you could say I'm a product of Dave Braswell.
Well, hey,
Yep.
we all have to have good mentors.
I used to live in Tucson, and I used to see Dave on a regular basis. Every time I asked him something he didn't know, he'd say, well, you know, we should do some experiments on that. And that's exactly what we did. This is where my daughter passed away here. So, I'm just
There you go.
Is that first gear?
Yeah, let's see here. Let's make. Yeah, that's first gear. Yeah. So David, what did you think about it?
Well, I enjoyed that ride, Andy. Thank you very much for the drive. I'm going to figure that this thing's probably good for something like 7.2 for the 8th mile at about 92 miles an hour. Right, maybe a bit more. It's a question of hooking it up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The thing is it's still all streetable. I'd like to point out that we did on my channel, David Vizard. If you just put David Vizard into Google or the YouTube channel, you'll get all my stuff. And Andy and I, about 18 months ago, we did a video on the streetability of tunnel rams and how tunnel rams are shortchanged.
Absolutely.
Here we've got, this is Holley's latest tunnel ram, and how much extra power was that, Andy?
It was worth close to 20 at certain spots and equal in torque over the old one. And that was unported.
This is unported, and the one we put on was one that I spent Lord knows how much
about
time
80 hours worth of grinding in it.
Yeah, this manifold here is a gem, right? It can be used on anything from the street to the racetrack, so long as you've got carburetors that are set up for the job and everything's just right on it. It'll drive really well.
So David, I'm going to ask you this. Do I pass the test?
Well, I guess so. Right. Yes, you're a pretty good beginner.
Well, I take that as a good compliment. See, David's been teaching me, whether he knows it or not, for the past 10 years or longer. It's probably going on closer to 15 years by now, but it's been a long time.
Yes, now, I'd like to say, Andy, I know this is your video, I'd like to say if anybody wants to learn about race engines, you know, I do have a lot of experience with race engines. I've won 4 championships in Europe by winning every single race for that championship, right? I'm probably one of the few people who's put a car on pole position where I've done everything on the car. That is, everything including designing the profile on the cam, porting the cylinder head, doing all the machining on the block, doing the wind tunnel stuff, doing the paint job, the suspension. In fact, I made my own shocks, and so when I got to the grid and put it on pole position, if I didn't win that race, you know who there was to blame?
You.
No one.
Yeah.
Right? And one thing that really ticks me off is these drivers who say, well, I didn't have enough power to do. Excuses, excuses.
That's right. See, guys, I want to tell you something. One thing I know about DV, you know, a lot of people try to put him in a box and say that he's just a journalist. No. First and foremost, he's an engineer that's got tons of experience. See, he got started in the aero industry, and so being a engineer in a airplane factory, you know, that just fueled his fire for hot rods. And so he has the knowledge and understanding, and he has taken that, and a lot of people try to discredit what he has done, but this right here, this engine you see, is a product of his technology. It is. I mean, the whole induction system, from the cylinder heads to the camshaft to the intake, it's all DV stuff. So I got to give him a huge thank for that, because, you know, if it wasn't for him, this thing wouldn't be in here.
Well, you know, the fastest hot rod I worked on was capable of cruising at 1,500 miles an hour.
That should put it in perspective.
Yes, it was Concorde.
So there you have it, folks. It doesn't get any better than a Concorde. So please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to go check out DV's channel, because there's a lot of really good content over there, and we'll see you next time.